So good evening and welcome to a Gritty Flanders week here on the Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne. We're live from the Full Speed Events Old Beer Cellar Studios. Might have to turn the cap up the right way on my Gritty cap. And great to be back with you. Now, we've had a pretty eventful weekend. We've got a pretty mad week on the Donny Chaingang. So make sure you get yourselves onto the Facebook pages, watch Instagram, watch out for Russ's feeds as well over social media to see what we're getting up to. We're going to kick off the week with, of course, the Donny Chaingang. That's going to be coming out to you live all night because it's going to be quite a long one, I suspect, for some people, because we've got a bit of a monster route, as you would expect with the Flanders week. It's got multitudes of terrain. It's got lots of different sections, of course, and even more importantly, we are going to be heading up over some big hills. So lots of things to test the legs. We're going to be heading out onto that very shortly. Now, Grity, Caroline, Neil, and all of the gang over at Grity are keen supporters of the Chain Gang. They've been riding it pretty much since the word go. Neil regularly finishing up in the top of the Open event. Caroline, for somebody who said that she was never going to ride on Zwift on the Chain Gang, strangely addicted, and oddly enough comes on the WoW DCG as well as DCG and shows us all how it's done. Also, I understand, joined by Lotta tonight. Lotta, of course, one of our up-and-coming stars off-road and on riding in the Tour of Portugal last year, and regular rider on the National Mountain Bike and Cross scene, and a podium rider on there as well. So we'll be watching out for them. Now, in support of the DCG gang, that's Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, the guys at Grity have got a great giveaway. And as everybody who knows Neil and Caroline, it's all about the experience as well as the riding the bike. You know, there's plenty of pictures on the internet if you search for them of the frites and mayonnaise in action. And it's actually a great one that went out in the members' email, which is of the whole family actually in Paris on the Arenberg cobbles, and the whole of the mob out there riding, which is great to see. Now, one way that you can involve yourself in the sport, of course, is going down to see the latest goodies. We all know the N+1 rule. You never have enough in terms of bikes. Definitely the case that everybody's always dreaming of their next bike, the next bit of kit. What's going to make them go quicker? What do they actually fancy spending the hard-earned pennies on next? Well, place to do that is the bike show, and the National Cycle Show is going to be the 18th and 19th of June in the NEC. Grity are going to be there, and they are going to take some guests along. So today and on Thursday, we're going to give away a couple of things each time. First of all, 2 tickets to the cycle show and 2 kids or more, if you need them, as the masters ought to know, for the cycle show. And before we do that, we're also going to be giving away a fantastic Flanders and Monuments t-shirt. Now, Grity produce great sustainable apparel. There's a reason why this t-shirt regularly makes it onto the show. It's because it's one of my favourite shirts. It really is great. The temperature in here heats up really, really quickly. This, of course, sustainable. It has the minimum impact in terms of on the planet, and we do the same here as well. In fact, everything that powers and runs off from here is actually going out on green energy, so we actually have a full green energy, and we carbon offset anything that we can't use electricity for, which fortunately for the broadcast is pretty much everything. Now, we are going to give away the t-shirt and the tickets to a member of the DCG gang, and the DCG gang is how we keep the show on the road. As you can see, the random number generator is already fired up and rolling. The members of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang supporters, are numbered right the way from 1 all the way down to, I think it's in the top end of the 70s. It is one rider, one prize, so if you win the t-shirt, you can't get the tickets. And if you win either of those today, you're not going to be in for the draw on Thursday. It just means that more people get to win more prizes, which is exactly what we want. So all of our riders who are members of the DCG gang have a number, and that number will stop. Obviously, Caroline, who is a member, is ineligible for this, so we've already taken her out of the running. So let's get this stopped, and let's see where the first of those prizes. This for the Monuments t-shirt, the Flanders profile on there, and great to wrap up the March competitions and the giveaways with that. Right, I'm going to close my eyes, look out of the way, and it is going to be number 43, which means Mark Tickhill is going to be the first of our winners. So he's going to be on a T-shirt. So Mark will be in touch and let you know exactly how to get hold of that. So congratulations to Mark Tickhill, one of our regular riders, really a gritty rider, has to be said. I've seen some great performances from Mark, so good to see Mark. And I know Mark regularly out on the bike in real life as well at the moment. Just 1 second till I've got a sore throat. Live on air drinking, if it wasn't OTE, then I might get in trouble. Okay, one more price to go. Now, this is for a pair of adult tickets. So this means you can take you and your significant other, plus up to as many kids as you want. Or you can take you, your mate, and all of their horde with you if you win. So, let's stop this again. And it's going to be, this time, for those tickets, Simon Day. Simon, you have won the tickets to the show. So congratulations to Simon for the tickets. Congratulations, of course, to Mark for winning the T-shirt. And we'll make sure that you get those emails out. And hopefully you're going to be able to put those tickets to good use. Right, on to today's ride. Now, we have, of course, had the Wolf. Jimmy Allen has been in the hot seat, whilst Russ has been starting to learn how to be Daddy Bear. Well, we had Russ back and riding, having a soft start, as the saying goes, if it could be soft on the Donny Chaingang during the week. Last week for Russ, who was riding in the Chaingang. But this is the week where we see the return of the one and only. It is going to be the Bear. Russ, how are you doing?
I'm good, been better.
Have you had any sleep in the past month?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah, but more to the point, looks like Jimmy's leading and not me, so yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Oh, that could be it. Oh, so at the moment, Jimmy's got the beacon over his head. He's going to be ruined, that one.
Yeah, so let's just see, you know, the request was put into Zwift that I was back in the game, but let's see.
It looks, well, in that case, Jimmy's going to have his work out. I'm going to leave him to do the messaging. So, Russ, you are back in the game once again and out riding in real life as well, I see.
Well, getting out whenever my eyes are open, yeah, just to ease the legs. I had a spin out with Jimmy and Nady at the weekend. I mean, we just had to go by the pub, didn't we, to ching to old Normie boy.
Sounds like a very, very appropriate thing to do. And no surprises, really, that you called it at the pub if you were out with Eddie and with Jimmy. Now, we've got a bit of a tough route tonight for everybody because this is another one of our specials. It has to be tough because, of course, Flanders is an absolutely iconic race. And I don't think there's such a thing as an easy edition of Flanders, is there?
No, there never has been, you know. Apart from when it's sunshine, that makes it the easiest Flanders is ever going to be.
Well, yeah, that's still brutal because it just goes a whole lot quicker, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's it. It just comes back easy, you know. It's not got the elements of the thing, you know. The route's hard, but it's normally the weather. It's always the same in any classic style race. It just never comes back, and the weather just gets in the way. A bit like any bike riding, really.
Well, let's see whether we get today. At least being in the pain cave, it's just going to be a warm one tonight. A bit muggy, I think.
Yeah, not bad. I think I'm running at about 13 degrees now. So, yeah. And I was hoping Jimmy would lose his yellow beacon, but he hasn't. So it's still Jimmy the leader.
Oh, well, Russ, enjoy, mate. I'm sure you will be assisting around as always. I'm sure you won't be able to help yourself. The Bear and the Wolf in combination may be needed tonight with the route we've got.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be a tough one, but it's only 40k, so it can't be that bad.
I might remind you of that by the end. Cheers, Russ. We'll catch you soon.
Cheers.
So great to catch up with Russ. Our riders just starting to head out on to the route at the moment. And this is going to be an entertaining one indeed. Now, we are heading out onto the bigger loop. This is a version of the bigger loop. And this is another Grity special. I'll apologise now to anybody who's not a climber, because this is going to be tough stuff. We set out on the start route, which takes us out through the nice flat section into Fuego Flats. And you can see on the map we head out towards the right-hand side of the screen. We come around that flat section, we drop briefly up towards the forest, and we go in through the skies before joining the epic climb, which is there in the blue. Now, the epic KOM is the big climb here. It is where the real testing is going to be done of our riders' legs. But once we come over the top, it's not a simple descent. It's super fast. It's got steps in that descent. And then we take a left-hand turn and go in towards the jungle. And once we go onto that jungle loop, we are on a gravel finish. And that means that the riders have to get that descent just right. And we finish at the point where the jungle loop finishes at the end of the ride. It's 36.5k. How hard can it be? Well, this is a Donny Chaingang. It ain't easy. Let's show you just one. Let's jump from our Zwift Hacks map. And just making sure, whilst we're doing that simultaneously, that everybody's out of the blocks pretty much on time. I think Mr. Langmead is our man, just checking where everyone is on the way through. Don't forget, if you are just joining and you are behind, you can always jump out and then rejoin the group. So Richard Langmead is our red beacon. He's going to be sweeping and making sure everybody makes it out at least onto the start of the climb, hopefully in one group. Not sure everybody's going to get off the climb in one group, that's for certain. Why is it so hard? Well, let's jump across to our Zwift profile. This is courtesy, of course, of Fellow Viewer. So the Fellow Viewer profile, and this shows you exactly how tough this is. We head out, and currently our rider's just heading out in towards kilometre number 2. So they're just on that little run across in towards the Fuego Flats, which is where we plan on joining them. They then have the long flat section, a slight rise, and you can just see between kilometres 12 and 14, that riser that is the Sequoia Forest. A little drop back out again, then onto those yellow and white slopes where the gradient increases. As you can see, though, descent or level sections on the way through. Where it's blue, that's the descent. And as you can see, there are a number of steps, number of kicks downwards, which are going to really break up those legs before we come up to the top of the KOM. Then a downhill with some upslope in there as well before we jump up. And the major climb out that comes at 29k into this course, well, that is where we go up and over the pass. So then that final run down, that is all the way through the jungle to the finish line, which is gritty, it's off-road, and it is going to definitely test our riders. So who's going to be at the front, who's going to be at the back? Looks like Jimmy inheriting the yellow beacon. So let's see how Jimmy gets on. Looks like he's landed that job, whether he likes it or not, although Russ was down to be the beacon. Looks like Jimmy is in there, which gives the bear a little bit more room to play. So let's dive across and jump into the ride here on Gritty Flanders Week on the Donny Chaingang. So focus down on Jimmy Allen here as the helicopter makes its way down in to focus on our rider leader, the Donny Chaingang group, the gang getting all together once again. Now there's a real who's who in this group. The bear is here because, of course, Russ joining us. Dale Williams has made it on time, so definitely going to be looking out for a winning lottery ticket very shortly. We're just taking a little bit of a run through this group just to keep a check on who's in here as well. It's certainly looking pretty busy. We've got across to our red beacon at the moment. And as you can see, Mr. Langmead just tucked in nicely with this group. Looks like the numbers mean that we can see everybody in the pack. And at the moment, that group not needing any assistance. Russ is with us. Russ, of course, getting that orange tick. And his fame or infamy of the bear precedes him as he moves his way along. Currently, is that really 56 beats? 56 revs per minute, just weaving his way in and through. It certainly looks like it. You can just see him rolling in and through. So today's route, we start off and head through Fuego Flats. We go up into the Sky Forest, dive left to the base of the Epic KOM, over the KOM, the Epic KOM, down the other side, turn left into the jungle and finish at the Jungle Rock Arch. That is the plan, Stan. Whether it stays that way, well, one man who's going to be hoping to take away his young Tom Lindley title is going to be the Poolador of the Donny Chaingang. It is Tom Lindley, and good to see Tom back in the gang once again. It is a real who's who in here, just jumping in above Jimmy, and I think Jimmy is probably the first to say you know that you can take it pretty steady because the chain gang is going to roll nicely. Doesn't need too much maintenance, fortunately. So the gang are rolling on. Looks like Greg Pilsworth making it nice and early as well into the gang. Looks like Stefano are missing tonight along with Trevor Crehan. Don't worry, guys, plenty more chain gangs to go. Remember, of course, we still have all of April, but you are missing out on the Gritty week. So a helicopter jumps up into the sky, just watches this group track its way around and keeping pretty group compacto as it comes in towards this turn and then heads out. So remember, we're just heading out into the Fuego Flats at the moment, and this flat section just going to get everybody up and moving. Looks like the chat board is pretty steady, so let's see. Del Williams already on with the lead out and the racing excuses by the look of it. I can see we've got George Cooper. George, hopefully you've recovered from, is it your 9th or 10th dose of COVID on the way through? George, one of our young superstars, and George on that Tron bike. Going to be really interesting to see how he goes on tonight. It looks like Matt Nunn just joined us. Darrell Shawala just sat on the back here, just rolling his way in to that group, just past our beacon at the back. As you can see, the gang are rolling along nicely here, and just keeping a check on everybody. Looks like Joe Jarvis in here from the Aeonian squad, so good to have Joe on board. Don't forget, of course, the Aeonian teammate of Joe, that is Emma. The boss going to be on the last of the WoW DCGs. It was postponed last week and is going to be on this Wednesday and going out on the special WoW DCG special version of the RGV route. So let's have a little bit of a look who else we've got on here. Looks like Luke Handley tucked in, Barry Kipling in with us, Mr. Atkinson, Luke in here, Tom Hepton. Shaw in here as well. Good to see Andy Hawes is in with us. Andy, a regular on the squad ride. Pinarello ambassador, of course, and nicely tucked on board his F. I suspect can't actually get. Oh, there we go. Good luck at that Pinarello dogma on the way in, and interesting to see the real mix of bike, a real mix of lightweight climbing machines as well as aerodynamic machines, dependent on what people are going. So, underneath the rock arch we go. This is the finish point for the Fuego Flats sprints. Nobody bothering to contest that as they go through. As you can see, it looks like we've got Josh Mayland on now. Josh, of course, looking after the riders in April. There's going to be a Halo giveaway in April along with the OTE. Simon Runnett, I will almost guarantee you, has just managed to get himself a feather flag. Excuse me. Now, Jimmy back on the radio silence because he's been busy plotting and planning. So tonight's route, I don't think Jimmy Jimmy does his homework before he is our Yellow Beacon. Does a lot of work behind the scenes, as does Russ, as does Emma, as has Alison. All our Yellow Beacons have to really do the homework, because they need to know where the course goes, where it goes up, and it is all very, very interesting when you then work out where they're going to go. Now, Jimmy Allen just reminded himself of the route. I know Jimmy likely to be watching on the YouTube feed simultaneously. So whilst the riders are just riding along, let's just refresh everybody's memory with the map details. So remember, we are currently heading out. We're actually about where the blue dot is, heading out and around the Fuego Flats. And the first half of this ride really very flat until we come back in towards the base of the Epic KOM. The blue section at the bottom, up over the KOM. We don't go up to the tower, but we then drop off the far side, and then we take the left-hand side. Mr. Lindley, we don't... this is new ground for everybody. This is not a ride we've done. It's brand new route. 2 brand new routes for Flanders week. In fact, basically all of our event weeks. So our fellow skiing week, along with the Nonners week, and of course Grity week, using new routes, 6 new routes in out of the 10 that we've used this time round. So the finish is at the bottom of a hill, basically. It is at the Rock Arch, and you will find it is a gravel descent. So the last 4K is off-road. So you've got to get your choice right, and a very difficult route to get the bike correct, because it is a route that requires you to have a fast bike to stay in the bunch and a fast aerodynamic bike for the descent, with a climb on the way up, which requires a lightweight bike plus a gravel finish. So you need a good all-round bike. Going to be interesting to see how it works. So for Matt Nunn, no, we don't finish at the Rock Arch. We go under. It is at the Arch in the jungle, which will be at 36.5 also K. Let's see who's going to be able to handle this. One rider who we know has definitely got the off-road skills. Good to have Lotta Mansfield in here. Lotta in and riding, and yeah, definitely a very Lotta-esque avatar. Maybe not quite as much style as Lotta on the bike, but looking good on the way through. And looks pretty smooth in that bunch there. Nice revs, 86 revs per minute. Basically, the entire Mansfield clan that is still riding and based in the centre of the country, not too far south of the Donny Chaingang territory, is in there. So Lotta alongside Caroline and Neil, and riding today on the Chaingang. And Lotta, of course, a very handy bike rider as well. If you go onto the Grity website, it's gritty.co.uk, you will see a lot of people on the back wheel. Mostly James Swaddling and Lotta on the back wheel. Not so much the gang doing this now. I'm loving the comment from Matt Nunn. He's fitted a drop post for the descent. If only, please, somebody do that. That would make my day. Absolutely make my day. So just having a little bit of a run up through the group here. It looks like we've got Mark Chamberlain on board. Mark, of course, keeping a check. So the Chaingang page is the website. So tucked in nicely here. Neil from the Crosscast, quickly up and around the front here. So Neil has been inside the top 10 on the countback. As he says, how do you work it out? Well, it's really easy. Just whip onto the YouTube channel and get a check of just what the numbers are as you make your way through. You can generally work it out. So Carl Johnson here, descending like a breeze. Well, that's exactly. Let's see how that is going to roll. Just watching a few people, just getting a few dropouts on the way through. Matt Nunn tucked in though nicely. Let's have a little bit of a check. Darrell Tashiel nicely in here. John Garfer in here as well. So it looks like the Zwift gods being nice to Russ and not letting him change over to being a yellow beacon, which he's probably going to be happy about, to be honest, on this, because let's face it, who wants being charged when you've got to keep everybody together to that big hill? Although at the moment it looks like it's working well. So Sonia Inslee, super sprinter, super strong sprinter. Sonia tucked in the front of the group, working nicely in the gang at the moment. Good to see you've got Dan Coleman with us, Mr. Coleman on the gang. So Dan tucked in nicely, just heading our way out of the gorge very shortly. So I love it when we do a brand new route. We suddenly get a whole load of pings on the messages and on the phone lines of people wanting more information. Really easy, watch the feed now. Caroline Mansfield in here. Caroline is the CEO. She is the head honcho when it comes to Grity, and it is she's the driving force behind it. Great to catch up with Neil. Caroline out on the bikes as we headed out around where a lot of people have been regularly, which is out to Clumber Park. Been out on the cyclocross bikes for a nice cyclocross route. Don't forget, you can always get a little bit of a heads up. There's a few new routes will be out and tested. Generally, if you follow whether in real life or on the Zwift platforms, on the esports platforms, well, give me a follow. That's Matt Fix the Pain on the Zwift and on Strava as well. So Jimmy asking who's your money on, who's your favourite tonight. Going to be interesting to see. Not sure who I'm going to predict as being right up there. And it looks like Mr. Mason just at the side of the road. Ted just jumping in as a late joiner. So just going to see if they can make the way up and in. Here we go. Ted just rolling his way in there in the blue. Oh, a bare win. Now that would be interesting. Is this or when Russ takes the win away? He's a canny rider. He knows how to ride this course, I'd imagine. So the group nicely together. I'm just going to have a quick bit of Grand Tour coffee, to be honest. It's probably a quadruple espresso in here, I think, by the time we got it through the machine. Very good. Going to need that tonight. So we are going to do a little bit of jiggery pokery, and we are going to see if we can do a little bit of juggling with a number of people, because we are going to try and get hold of the one and only, the man who was not Yellow Beacon, but now is Jimmy Allen. Jimmy.
Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. I was watching The Godfather this weekend, so it's absolutely perfect, isn't it?
It is. It is. I know in the conversation was not unsurprisingly, having quite a lot of conversations today about a multitude of things, including that the Rye Beacon had been swapped over into his hot little hands, only to find it hasn't. So, yeah, that's definitely an interesting one. And got to say, this is you've inherited it on a route that is a brand new route as well.
To be honest, yeah, I just messaged her. I'd not done my homework at all. I was falling asleep on my sofa about 30 minutes ago, and slapped myself in the face, put a bit of water on my face, back on the bike, and I'd not done my homework. Like I normally do. I think I'd not given it any thought whatsoever. And then so I've had to do a quick bit of research, and yeah, it's a good course. Something totally different. This one, isn't it? We're downhill, basically. A downhill finish.
It is
a long way.
Yeah, a long way. But there are a couple of kickers on the way through, which could catch out the unwary. But nice start. And I mean, if you're going to have to jump in, I know you spent a bit of time with Russ out on the bike in real life, but if you're going to have to jump in for Russ and look after the gang, got to say, the start is at least relatively straightforward, coming through Fuego Flats, and the gang are absolutely superb. You know, everybody's well behaved.
Yeah, again, not having to look at the screen, just pedalling 2 watts per kilo, steady away. And I said, we come out of here, don't we? We've got that little rise. We don't go over the Jurassic Park thing, do we? We turn and we head towards the KOM then, don't we?
We do indeed, yep. So straight through the section here. We're not too far from where you would turn if you're on the time trial course where Tempest Fuji is, but head back up in towards the Sequoias, but then, as you say, that sharp right straight down towards the tunnels, but then a sharp left sharp left down to the tunnels, and sharp left again, basically taking you up towards the KOM and straight onto it. So it's going to be quite an early hit for that, but the kilometres ticking away. I mean, we're already on, nearly 12k covered, so definitely going to be interesting to see where you call that, because, of course, once we go on to that big climb, it's one up, and then a long, long way downhill, and, of course, that gravel finish.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think it's going to be tactically worth changing the bike, but I do think it's definitely going to affect the vision of people if they are in a small bunch. It doesn't help when you're trying to watch for a final kick.
Yeah, it's totally going to change dynamics, isn't it? So, yeah, get ready, people. There might be a few curveballs coming your way tonight. But because it's a long downhill, I mean, really, is it a 7 kilometre climb? I can't remember. I usually avoid it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I'm sure people can work it out, but key thing is we're all blobbed up. As long as we're all blobbed up, and everybody's got a fair crack, then we'll have a good crack at the end and a good finale. But yeah, who's going to win tonight? I mean, it could be Phoenix from the Flames, Gareth tonight. It could be he's been up Sakalobra like a couple of weeks ago.
Well,
going well.
Indeed, I could throw you a couple of curveballs. Josh Mayland. Josh has been really strong, but he's not necessarily had the course that suits him. I don't know what actually does suit him, but he's one of those ones who's there or thereabouts. I'm reluctant to say Mr. Lindley because he gets all the pressure heaped on his shoulders. But I think it could be somebody, because the time gaps, depending on where that go-go-go is. If the go-go-go is early near the bottom, you could have some massive, massive gaps by the time you get to the top. If you go if it goes midway up, then that limits the amount of time a climber can get for that big downhill. But once you're on that downhill, anybody who's still in a group and still got bodies around them, so if you do find a group, it's going to be so much quicker on that descent, so long as you can stay together on the kickers. And then, of course, pull over the pass, well, that's probably the last chance that a good climber is going to kick, given the way that the route rolls.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I would imagine if you've not got a big gap by top, then you're not going to get away, and you're going to need a big gap if you're on your own, like you say, aren't you? Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, actually. And for once, well, I was going to say a feather's no good. It probably isn't really, is it? If you're in that finale, you're going to need an aero or a draft.
But we do go over the epic KOM, so you're going to get another potential power up on there. So ideally, you want a feather down, and then you want an aero on the downhill or into that finish would make a difference. So going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. Well, better let you go because you're actually hitting the climb here, and you're going to need to drag everybody back together. But cheers, Jimmy, for talking at short notice. And
no problem.
Enjoy. We'll no doubt at some point I'm going to be diving back in with Russ, so we're going to catch up with Russ in a little bit.
No problem. See you in a bit.
Cheers, mate. So great to catch up with Jimmy, and Jimmy just sitting at the back of that group with our red bacon just coming up here. Russ doing the leading from the front at the moment with the let's keep this tight. And good to see Russ keeping a check on everyone. It is all about holding it together. He's come up and over the top of that climb. Really tricky to say. Is it going to be Neil Mansfield's day? Neil has been riding incredibly strongly. He was absolutely flying when we were out with him in real life. And is it the day when he's inspired by riding now to go for it? We'll see. Good to see Josh from Halo Wheels watching live on YouTube. And we'll see. Good to see the Fat Cyclist was worrying about it on the way through. Ross said he's a keyboard warrior tonight. Excellent. Even better. We'll see. I somehow don't believe that. Russ might be quick on the keyboard, but he's even quicker on the pedals. So let's see how it goes. Lotter at the moment, tucked in here, 83 revs per minute still. We've got quite a big group of female riders. So it looks like we've got Tracy Seeley. Tracy the Terminator in Terminator 2.0 tucked in as well. Good to see it there. We've got Nick McDermott in here. Keith Hayward in. Mr. Wallace is in as well. Looks like Anthony Spencer in here. Phillips in as well. We've got Mr. Conley. You're just having a little run through. Rob Wimble in here. I think, Rob, you need to be... I think you've got a meeting to go to at some point tonight, so you better not hang around once the trigger is pulled. The gap's just opening up behind our riders, so just need to be a little careful. Just squeezing on this descent. The beacon is some way behind, so doesn't need to have anybody rolling over the front, please, guys. So will it be Josh, who's the man who does it? The Halo wheelsman will have the right wheels in that, is for sure. He's going to have gone for some lightweight wheels. He's had plenty of rest, hopefully, over the last few days. I'll let you work out why he's been taking it steady over the last few days, trying to avoid the plague word. I nearly said it then as well. But now we run in. So this the run in to the Epic KOM. We're on our way. And this is where things are going to get very interesting indeed. You can just see it is going to go straight uphill here. And this is where nobody needs to be a hero just yet. And you're not wrong there. Because as you can see, we're just coming off the flatlands and on to this monster of a climb. The gradient already starting to go up. You can see now at 9% already as we come up through in between the palms here. We're going to go around that left-hand turn. So no more than 3 watts per kilo, please. Well, not surprised on this section of the climb. This is where things are going to get tough. And look at that group coming bunched back together again. Always say on the Chaingang, it's just like real life. It's about making sure you keep the pace right, making sure you don't expend too much energy on the way through. And gotta say that Russ is been a little conservative here. Good to so he's still got his heart rate under 99 beats per minute. We'll soon try and do something about that. Let's see if we can get hold of the one and only Russ Downing. Let's see if he's going to be on the end of the line. Oh, could be that Russ is holding fire. Not being on yellow beacon, he's just off the, just taking it steady. So tucked in at the moment, probably at the moment, just trying to keep that heart rate down. It's got over 100. Probably trying to answer the phone simultaneously as riding his way up here. Just taking a look at Andy Hawes. Andy nicely tucked into this group as well. Just watching the riders come through. He's in the zone. Mr. Langmead, he may well indeed be in the zone. I'm rather him than me, to be honest. In this, on this climb, you can see already we're just on the early slopes here, and already this gradient is nasty, nasty, nasty stuff. But it's tough. It's a Flanders week. It was never going to be easy. So the group holding well together. The red beacon is here. Looks like just about everybody in. Tom Linley just rolling his way up into the group. So as Jimmy Allen says, stay off the front. This is where it gets harder to hold the group together. As we go over the top, the gradient eases. Behind the group, then the gradient is still hard. The back of the group are still on the steeper slopes. You can just see Lightmead here right on that steeper section. It eases off as we go over the bridge, but that is everybody in camera shot. And that is brilliant as we come up. And you can see in the distance, if we take a little bit of a look up, you can see the section of road just up there. That's where we're heading. Going up to the top though. We're not going right up to the tower at the very top, but the traverse across the main face is on there. Now guys, we need to ease off so that we can get the gang back together again. So we need to get the gang back together, please guys. Nice and steady does it. Let's get the red beacon into that group. So Jimmy just getting the gang in and around him, just in with Rowan here. The team from Grity are working well, so just steadily making the way up here. Just going to take a little bit of a check. Russ sat in with this group and keeping those revs, 55 revs. Well, Russ was on a big chainring. I think he's definitely staying on that big chainring at the moment. He's going to be able to get the power down. Well, look at this now. Looks like Jimmy's already getting the getting everybody revved up. He's saying get ready. We'll see if that's going to be a sign. If it is, that is going to be. We've got to get up there. You are kidding. We're going right to the top of the mountain yet. We're a long, long way out. We're 30 minutes in. We've only got 16k of the 36 done. There's still 20k to do. It's up, then down. And the go has gone. Jimmy has done it. He's gone for the uber early one. He's been really mixing it up. We're going to sit in with Russ, who's already getting the power down here. Look at this. He's gone early. He's gone hard. And look at the pressure going up on the front. It was Downing really hammers his way in through here. This is really, really quick here by Russ. He's onto the wheels here. Goes past Cooper, goes past Hepton. This is going to be a long way. And this is going to be really entertaining now. This is going to be a long one. And you can just see Varty and Simonite on the front being pulled back. Look at Callaway go at the moment. Liam Callaway is on a mission here. Callaway in that Squadra blue jersey goes over the top. Does he want to go for the full length? And look how long the gang has got on this section. You can just see everybody is just one strung out line following Callaway here. And you can see the riders in the distance. We've still got kilometres and kilometres to go. And they've got early. Atkinson straight onto the wheels here. Really interesting to see Atkinson quickly into the wheel tracks here. And is he going to be the man who's going to get right on the front and keep that pressure on now? We talked about Josh Malem. Josh is in here. He's in the mix. Is Josh going to be the man? He's got a lightweight climbing bike. And with that going very early, this is going to be interesting to see who's right up in the mix. So at the moment, we've got... we're going to have right at the front Johnny Atkinson, then Dan Coleman, Josh Malem, Rob Varty, Liam Callaway, Tom Hepton, Tom Lindley, Anthony Spencer, who we're sat with at the moment. Behind him, Isaac Oliver, Darrell Tatchell, Waller, Paul Simonite, George Cooper, Russ working his way up through, Phil Oliver, Ian Bale up here, Andy Watson in the mix, Dale Williams not that far behind, but the gaps are now starting to open. This is going to be about making sure you set the pace right. You can't afford to go too mad too soon. If you aren't in the lead group, you know the score, find a group. Find a gang, find a company, and get riding with that group. Now, it looks like Joe Jarvis well tucked in here with Lotta Mansfield. I think they are the first two of our female riders in the gang at the moment. Just going to get a double check on that. But unless I am much mistaken, it is Jarvis with Mansfield at the moment. So Lotta Mansfield and Joe Jarvis side by side on this climb. Just riding in with Joe Mansfield at the side there. So Lotta right on the heels as they make the way up. This is a big old climb. You can just see it really is dot to dot out there now. Behind, looks like Tracy Seeley, currently our third female rider in the gang, actually on the road. And this is going to be how good is a Terminator once the pressure has come on this time round. Kipling behind, looks like Bishop in here. Good to see we've got Andy Royals in here as well. Mr. Royals tucked in, and now how's he going to get on with this climb? Just tucked in, I think, on the heels of Sonia as they come up this time. Just going to take a little bit of a check back through. Caroline Mansfield tucked in here with looks like Shaw, and Caroline on some lightweight wheels. Of course, good proper colour coordinated kit as you would expect from the head of Grity. So Sonia just tucked in here with Ted, the duo side by side as they come up here. Langmead in here, and looks like Andy Hawes just having a chat here. So I think that was a go from Andy rather than a do. Andy, of course, having an incredibly busy week. Launch of lots more rides, so don't worry about me from Andy there. He's got launch of lots of the Tour Series. Galishio's just being launched as well. Going to be great to see all that action. Really looking forward to watching that on the telly box. So Mr. Kerr tucked in here. Now, people asking where's Finish. It's already been on the screens multiple times. You finish on the descent all the way down, turn left into the jungle, and it is starting to split. You can see those groups. There is some real target rides for these people, for these riders. At the front, though, it looks to me like this select group of riders has not broken up yet. Varty, Atkinson, Coleman, Lindley, Mayland, all together. A little bit fractionally further back is Darrell Tatchell Wallow. Then it's a little bit more of a gap back to The riders behind just coming up in through the village at the moment. You can see Varty in the red and the black. Immediately behind in the blue, that's Dan Coleman. Then we have Atkinson in the cryogen kit, the blue and the white. Malin goes up in that grey camo kit. Then it's going to be Lindley in the orange, being tracked very much by Tatshall Waller in the orange cap with the orange Tron bike there. In the grey, just squeezing in there, Tom Hepton right on the wheels, but it's Dan Coleman leading, and this is a select group of 7 riders now. They're going to make it 8 with the arrival of Simonite. So Simonite getting into the wheel tracks. This is going to make 8. Now, is nobody going to go too hard on the ascent because they want the group on the descent, or is somebody going to try and break clear to give that space on the downhill? Brand new route for the Chaingang. Look who's here. He's back. He's back in town. It is the Bear back with us. And look at that, Russ revving it up here compared to earlier on. He's on 89 revs per minute, that heart rate 151. And this group has swollen. The arrival of Isaac Oliver in the black at the back, and the Bear is back, and he's in this leading group. Tatshall Waller on the front. The riders continue upwards. We're going to continue up this slope. Remember, this is a long, long climb. We're only 19k into this ride. The total ride distance is 40k. We should finish at about should have a warm down. I think it's going to be of approximately 3.5k. This generally rolls out. We've done it a number of times actually to try and make sure we get this exactly right. 36.5k when you come in and across the line, but that's a long way on from where our leaders are at the moment. So Downing in there, Simonite, Tatshall Waller, 3, 6, 9, 10 riders now in that leading group. So that group has gone up to 10 riders. They come in and through on to the cobbles. Here they come. And you can just see working well. They're tucked down at the bottom here, in with the riders on that motorbike, just down by the hills. Just watching Russ as he comes through. Immediately behind that group are all tucked in with him. It levels as you come in through the castle here before going up again. And at the moment, you can just see Downing are really going hard. Now, Russ normally has the discount for that downhill. Definitely tough stuff. Lindley's got one on as well, because Lindley usually struggles on the downhills compared to the uphills because he's a lighter rider. But at the moment, this leading group of 10 have a gap. Craig Genther is leading the chase behind, the pair behind. It's Craig Genther along with George Cooper in the black. Then it's going to be currently 13th place for Neil from the crosscut from Grity. So 13th is Neil. It's going to be 14th for Anthony Spencer. 15th is our yellow beacon, Jimmy Allen. 16th is going to be Gareth Mason. 17th is Taylor. 18th Conley. 19th Osman. It's going to be 20th for Bale. 21 for Taylor. I think Pillsworth, Williams in this group. So this is the group round about that 25 to 30 mark. Pillsworth, Callaway, Phil Oliver, Luke Hanley, Pearson. So they're all sitting inside that top 30 at the moment, but the very front of the ride, it is still being led out by that group as they make their way up. They're into the snow line now, but we've still got a long, long way to go to that summit. So just watching here the ascent of Ian Bale and Dale Williams trying to close down on Jimmy Allen. That's the riders in that sort of top 15 marker. So it looks like a few popped legs a bit further back. Mark Chamberlain coming in here. He's got Forbes, Sharp, Stevens, and I think it's going to be Tim Cooper for company. Tim, don't you be going too hard. Tim on the comeback from the plague and just get himself back in, and thank you very much, Tim. Lots of tech work with Tim today on the stuff behind the scenes. Our official lap counter, who has to count up to fractions today of this lap, it is Matt Nunn. Matt tucked in here, and Matt's going to be keeping a check on where those riders are. Our red beacon going to be a bit further back down the slope. Let's have a little bit of a run down. Looks like Joe Jarvis at the moment. Just out of the saddle here on the climb, just pushing out 3.5 watts per kilo here. Got Malin on her heels. Then it's going to be Tracy Seeley, the Terminator, has gone past Lotta Mansfield. Lotta currently digging deep side the back of that group. He's got to squeeze back in to get in with Tracy Seeley. Jarvis, though, has gone clear at the front. Joe Jarvis, of course, regular racer in the WRTL for the Aeonian squad, which is taking a little bit of run a bit further back. Looks like Brooks, Gibbo, looks like Bishop down in those tunnels, going to drop back. Looks like the gang here forming around Carl Johnson, Sir Rodney, Nick McDermott. Sean not all that far back. Royals just in front of Inslee, the Sheffield rider in front of the Bolsover rider. Caroline from the Gritty squad are on the way up here. Looks like Ted, Keith Hayward in here. Looks like Phillips and Canham. Anthony Kerr coming up with Langham here, and Andy Hawes just spinning his legs off here. And he's got a big ride tomorrow. Andy leading the squadron ride tomorrow. Of course, the WOW DCG taking place. Final WOW DCG tomorrow as well. Busy day on Zwift tomorrow. Don't forget, if you have ridden one of the WOW DCGs, good one to ride tomorrow. It's going to be on the course that we all really love if you're out and riding in France. It's RGV, but it's a special version now. Looks like Isaac Oliver winding the screw. This is going to be interesting now. Dale Williams will say the bigger the blob, the faster the downhill. He's looking for some assistance. He doesn't want it too hard on the climb, on a long climb, as this group now starts to fracture. So Varty and Mayland just near the back of that pack behind them. Then Downing currently just off the back, as is Simonite. They need to squeeze to get back in. Onto the front goes Hepton. That attack by Oliver not coming to anything as yet. Remember, as we make our way in and through these tunnels, the riders in there now. Russ just quickly closes that gap. How fast is Russ on there? Remember, of course, the Downing coach, the riders, they know all about resting at the right time. They know exactly how to make sure that they can ride super smooth. And at the moment, as this leading gang makes their way up through the snow, the mist blowing, they're in the tunnels on the climb at the moment. They've got the gap back. Simonite is 3 seconds behind this group as they come in. Another steep section, another kicker. As they come around, and Simonite, you can just see on that pink Tron bike trying to close down the gap on the riders. If we drop back though to Craig Genther and co, here we go. These are duo behind, so it is Craig Genther and going to be, I think, George Cooper just on his heels, just making the way in through that tunnel. A little bit further back, Jimmy Allen, the yellow beacon, currently leading the way up here with Jimmy Neal from the Crosscast right on his heels. You can see that yellow Tron bike just trying to close the gap down between the two of them. At the moment, that gap fractions of a second as it comes down from 1 second down to 0 seconds, and the yellow beacon gets closed down up on the front. Russ Downing, though, now starting to really put the pressure on. He's turning the screw. The descent down over the bridge done, and it looks like Simonite has not made contact, but at the moment, this group, the first downhill, you can see in the distance this sawtooth profile. It really does break the legs up. Look at the gradient here. We're coming in. We're on 8% as you kick up this slope. It's absolutely brutal stuff. You can just see, I think that's Varty who's just coming to a standstill. I think the bike must have exploded there. You certainly can't employ any sprint stop tactics. Malin now pushes on, excuse me, as we come over onto the top. And you can see we're just riding in with Russ, but watch what happens. We're now on the top of the slope. Down we go. This descent really kicks in. It is 10, 13, 14% on the way down. Certainly another quick kick up again. This is where it plays today exactly how to ride the game. 12% on the way up. You put the pressure on the uphills. That's exactly where you're going to get the most effect from this ride. And as these riders make their way across this central ridge, you can just see the gradient kicks in again, but we've got another descent coming up before that final grind up to the summit. At the moment, this group just about all together. It's starting to shed 1 or 2 bodies off the back. We're at 7 riders, 8 riders now, 9, 10 riders just about together. So the 2 riders in trouble at the moment. It is going to be Simonite and I think it is going to be Coleman who are on the back foot at the moment, and at the back of that group is on to the front as they push up over the top. Daryl Tatishawala, will it be his day today? These are constant rises and drops taking their toll on the riders. This is tough stuff off here And you can just see the damage it's doing. Tactical Waller now starts to push on into this descent. Another one of the roller coaster ride sections here as you drop down. He's got the gap. Can he hold on to this into that descent behind? The chase is on. Simonite leading the charge behind, and at the moment, if we take a look, you can just see that group pretty much all rolling the way down behind. Coleman just entering that, and look how fast those gaps have opened up. Jimmy Allen on the roller coaster section as well. Looks like Osmond just coming into that Big Dipper. Behind is Williams and that group now. Remember, if we get to the summit with the riders in a group, that will hand the advantage to a mix of riders rather than a solo rider. As these riders start to come around, remember the summit, if you're looking on the map, top right-hand side of your screen, is basically up where the junction is. The junction's on the plateau section at the top of the climb. We then go into the descent. So this is going to be a really fast stuff tonight. So hitting that 40-minute marker already. We're not at the top of the climb. Remember, we've got to go off the other side. Once we've gone down the other side, we take the left-hand turn. We go through the pass that takes you into the Mayan jungle. We then go into that Mayan jungle and descend down the Mayan jungle before heading in through to the arch in the far side of the waterfalls in those caves. So going to be really interesting to see just how that pans out. These riders with Varty on the front now, Hepton behind him. Varty is kicking again. He's wanted to take some of the sting out. Now he eases off. And you'll see Rob Varty do this. He sprint hard, ease, sprint and ease. It is a tactic that works on some slopes, not on all. And this is not particularly one that is very good for, because what you find is that the rest periods basically really penalise you on the way up. Going downhill now. Downing kicks over the top. He wants to keep it at a much smoother pace here. Russ is winding here at 7 watts per kilo. The King of the Mountains is coming up. Is Russ going to take that? It's not all that far in front. You can just see it coming. You can see the goat on the side here. Are we going to get the epic KOM? Remember, we're in Watopia, so it's a live world. That means if somebody can take this jersey, they will have the fastest of anybody on Watopia at all. Isaac Oliver's going to challenge for it, but look at this. Lindley's coming at it. Lindley's coming hard. Is Lindley going to go over the top? He is. Lindley's going to go over the top. He's going to take the fastest time, I think, over the top. Downing gets the fastest time. Now, that's because he came from further back in the bunch. He was almost to the back of the group as he went into the climb. A 21:34 on the way up there. And we're now on to the upper plateau behind. Let's have a little bit of a look at the damage that's been done by that last little section. The work is having to be done. You can see Rob Varty having to come across at nearly 9 watts per kilo there. Simonite pushing on. Hepton doing the same. They're in a group of 5 riders behind, but they've got to close this gap down. They're going to hit that descent as we bypass the tower, and the riders at the moment, they're coming into this downhill. Now begins the descent, and this is where, if you're in a group, it's going to work. Darren Tashel was saying, I thought we went left here. Please, we didn't. You're not wrong, mate. It is a straight down this side, and we drop down in. Darren, you need to join the Donny Chaingang Sports Club, mate. It's all in the email, I promise you. Even the maps are right in there. Mostly because they're hand-edited by yours truly. Right, down onto the descent we go. You can just see we're running in with Russ. Touch Your Wallet jumps on the front. We're into this speedy descent, and this is where it's about not being off the back of the group. And we're going to take a little bit of a look. Simonite at the moment in a little bit of trouble here, as is Atkinson. If they don't get onto the heels, they're not going to be in there with 300 metres off the top of the summit. I've got a little bit of a kicker here, which is going to help a little to get the group back together again, but it's going to be very, very quickly into the next section of descent. They're on the way down. Behind then, Genthard now into that descent. Dan Coleman about to drop in, and Neil from the Crosscast has got Jimmy Allen coming up over the top, so through they go. It's going to be, I think, Neil from the Crosscast currently holding in there. The guys come up and over through that KOM marker, and you can just see this group, if they work together, they're going to have a good chance of keeping Handley, Dale Williams, Taylor at bay. Behind it, it's going to be Pearlsworth just making its way to the summit. Then it's going to be Mason Richardson, Keith Richardson putting in a storming ride here as Richardson is going to come up alongside Mason, I think, as they're coming into the summit here. Our leaders already are well into the descent. So as Richardson goes in through, the leaders on this descent, they've got a little bit of a gap, and I'm just taking a little bit of a look. I think it is Simonite who was struggling to get in touch. He has been distanced. Tom Hepton is not in touch either. The leaders are well on the way down. Daryl Tatchell-Waller is leading this group out at the moment. As they come down this descent, you can just see it is incredibly steep on this descent down. We're going to take the left-hand turn near the bottom. Everybody's starting to super tuck. Ease off the pedals, more than 58 kph. Make sure that you're doing that. It's steeper than 3%. Well, we're at 9% at the moment. That's going to make a difference 50 minutes into this ride. Now, remember, into this descent, it's about staying on. Atkinson again having to work hard to get in. Now he's got to pedal. You've got to get the timing right with that super tuck, because you go uphill. Well, the moment it stops being less than 3%, you're in trouble. And Atkinson now has to work to get on. That group has got the gap. They are going to open that up. Lindley is in there. He's just on the back, super tucking in. He's got the disc in. That should help him on this downhill. Interestingly, Downing and Lindley both equipped with discs here on this descent. It's not far off taking that left-hand turn. You can see it coming up. We're going to turn left and left in towards the jungle. We don't go right down to the base of this descent at the moment. These are your leaders on this descent down here, with Varty leading them down this descent. 10% descent at the moment. Leading group have dropped Simonite. He's at 16 seconds. Hepton's at nearly a minute now. Genther at 2. Neil from the Crosscast at 4 minutes. The gaps are huge. You don't need a stopwatch. You need a calendar to work out who's where on this course at the moment, as Barty is going to lead them in and through in towards the turns, come around that final steep right-hand turn. This descent giving everybody's legs time to recover on the way down. It's absolutely brutal out there. The descent is definitely doing some damage. Jimmy Allen, the yellow beacon, currently sitting in what's going to be about 15th place, I think, at the moment. You have your leading group, though, coming around that turn. They burst through the entry in towards the jungle at the moment. They've got the gap, and this is where they've got to push onwards. Now we go into this ascent. And after that descent, it's about whose legs have recovered, who has got jelly legs after that descent, because this is deceptive, this hill. It is out and up the pass before we drop down into the Mayan jungle. It's not that long, it's not that steep, but it is enough when you come off the back of a long descent. We've all done it in real life. You hit that climb and it really does take its toll. At the moment, our riders are looking like they've got this absolutely dialed, and just making the way in of that pass. We go through, and who is it going to be now? Downing goes again. He's pushed it on as we come in. You can just see he's gone at 8 watts per kilo. Is it going to be a Russ's day here? Tatchell-Waller's got the energy to type at the moment. Well, that takes some doing. You just see the volcano smoking in the distance. We don't go near it yet. We're at 53 minutes now of riding. We're coming up at the climb here. We drop down, and now it is almost all downhill to the finish here. This is your descent down and in. Remember, we finish when we hit the archway in the jungle, and this means that the advantage goes to a group on this descent at the moment. That speed will come off the group, though, when they hit the gravel, so the draft will have less effect, and the group is coming back to a slight little kicker here. They've got to get over the top of the pass. Varty is in this group. Downing in here. It looks to me like Josh Mayland is going to be in. He said he was taking it easy and he's running. I don't believe that for a second. Look at this. I'll tell you something, if I could come back from having the plague as fast as Josh Mayland has done, that is some speedy return. As they're now into the descent, probably you can see the road dropping down the side here into the trees. This is the precursor for the main part of the jungle behind. You can just see, I think is going to be a chase here. Simonite currently at about 36 seconds down. Craig Genther going over the top now into that descent. Hepton on the climb, being chased by Neil from the crosscast. They're not that far behind. Jimmy Allen, George Cooper in there. Now Luke Hamley, then it's going to be Dale Williams. Can they close down on that yellow beacon group? It's a beacon to chase. Taylor Osborne, Pillsworth run it all on that descent. The leading group, though, with Russ Downing in this mix. All together is the Bear going to strike. He was expecting to be the beacon. He was relieved of those duties. We now hit the gravel and up comes the dust. We know that Flanders is a mixture of terrains. It's a mixture of surfaces. You've got to get absolutely down and look at this. All of a sudden the dust plumes come up. If we drop in with those riders, you can just see that dust is being kicked up now. If you're at the front of the group, that makes it a lot easier. It does make it harder. This is Russ's view with the standard avatar view. So not too bad at the moment, the mid-pack. If you get much bigger than this, though, you really do start to struggle. Now, riders coming down now to the junction. They're going to turn and then descend and continue on downwards. A downhill descent into the finish, but not an easy one. Really mixes it up by having this gravel at the end. Makes you think about what you're doing. That's exactly what Grity do with your clothing. The apparel, of course, sustainable from Grity. We take the right-hand turn, and now it is downhill in. We're going to pass the up and down in towards that jungle section. Our riders descending, Russ just tucked in at the back here. We don't go over the rope bridge, that's going to make a difference. And at the moment it's Atkinson who's just keeping the pressure on. He's keeping everybody honest, but there's not an attack by any stretch of the imagination behind this group. It looks to me like Simonite just having taken that turn, being chased by Genther. Genther's still got the gap on the yellow beacon. Remember, they were trying to stay clear. The chase was coming from Handley and Williams. They're starting to put the pressure on, but it is a 3 against 2. Behind then it's Taylor Osborne, Pillsworth. Mason's group has got Richardson and Greg Pillsworth in there. Pearson on the way through. Bale, Spencer, Coleman, Oliver on this climb. He's got Callaway, Raccoon, Conley chasing the big group here with Rob Wimble in it. It looks like that group are going to be a very big pack indeed, chasing down hard behind. Just taking a look, it's certainly looking really interesting. Russ still tucked on the back of the main group here, of the leading group. He's just keeping that powder dry, I think, at the moment. He's almost onto the wheels. So here he goes, tucks in behind. You can just see at the moment, Tattershaw Waller right behind him. So right down in the dust of the jungle here. Best sprinter, definitely Russ. Will he be able to use it though? We have the descent. We then go in through the tunnels. We go over the bridges. It is not just about who can sprint, it's about power. Remember, Tom Lindley has been getting quicker and quicker in the sprints. You can't discount Varty. You can't discount Mayland in here. Atkinson's got a kick, and Isaac Oliver, the youngster, absolutely flying in here. Good to see Isaac in here, the man who will inherit that young title. Well, the question is he going to be the rider who can take them all out? Remember, if you're lighter, it's easy to get those watts per kilo out, but there's going to be some pure power having to be applied as well. We go underneath the slopes at the moment. Down we go. Duck underneath him, and the pressure coming on. So Mayland couldn't crack him on the uphill on that lightweight bike. Now he's going to be feeling the effects because he's going to have to work harder on this descent. And no surprise to the preponderance of having Tron bikes up at the front. Great all-round bike and definitely working well here behind. Siren 8 now at 22 seconds. Genter nearly a minute 20 down. Neil from the crosscast with Jimmy Allen, the gritty man, is onto the grit indeed here, and they have to try and close that gap down. Now, running in to the descent. We've gone across that halfway marker. This is really a brand new route for us to use on the Chaingang. It's really mixing it up here. We're going down past the Mayan City at the moment. And Atkinson just opening a little bit of a gap here. It is just starting to stretch. He's going to make Mayland work. Mayland is at a second, so that's currently about 10 metres. Is he going to be able to close that gap down? Remember, 3 bike lengths is the optimum. When you start to lose that draft, it very quickly loses effect when you're on a small group like this. But it is one long line that's come through. Now Atkinson jumps off the front. Malin does a very short turn there. Isaac goes over the top. And now we're seeing Tatsuya Waller go through, but he goes through. That's a real soft tap in through to the front there from Tatsuya Waller. You can see the gantry just starting to show on the map at the top. We go past the entry to the Alpe d'Huez. And now this select group of riders are coming in. It's going to be one of these riders. You can see 7 riders to play for. The blue and white of Atkinson, the grey of Downing Sofas, Russ Downing. You've got Tatsuya Waller in the black with the grey top. And now Varty has gone early. Varty has gone on the offensive. He doesn't want to leave it to a sprint. He's gone and he's kicked down hard. He's really starting to push here, and this is going to be tough stuff. We go into the tunnels. We're onto the bridge. They're coming behind him. He kicks again. That gantry is going to come soon, and Downey's gone over the top. So Downey now goes. Can he push on here? Can he keep clear? Lindley's behind him in the orange. This is going to be close. There's still a way to go, and Downing went early. That gantry is going to come. Has he done enough to hold them off? Oliver's there. It's about getting your timing right. Can the bear growl and take this? They're all absolutely down 1,000 deaths behind. The gantry is going to come. It's out and around the corner. It comes real quick. Is he going to get caught napping? Are we going to see Lindley take his very first one? Young Tom Lindley comes of age. It's a win. He's finally done it. It is Tom Lindley. He takes the win on a course that has had everything in it. Lindley comes across. Tatsuya Waller, Oliver, Malin, Varty, Downing, who put that last kick in, goes through. Atkinson goes through. Congratulations to Tom. What a finisher there. He didn't give up. We thought he was coming. He was close. He was close. He's been the bridesmaid. Now he's definitely going to be the one on the top step, because Lindley takes it on a brand new course for the Donny Chaingang. What a ride there now. Craig Genther with the gap behind. Absolutely brilliant stuff. That kick looked horrendous. Multiple pushes on the pedals to get that run in to the finish. You could just see that second kick that was required to close the gap down. Russ really nailed it there, and you can see like just bodies everywhere on the road. So brand new route. Let us know, as always, on the Facebook pages what you thought of it. Should we go back again? I know Tom's vote's probably a yes. Certainly entertaining from where I was. Now here we go. Craig Genther comes in and through that Downing Cycling Coaching Works jersey. Through that gantry he goes. Great ride done by Craig behind. This is going to be interesting. Now Jimmy Allen. Neil from the crosscast. George Cooper pushing on, and it's Cooper who's got the gap on them. He's gone early as he go into the tunnels. Really difficult to just don't come this way at this finish line regularly. We really don't see this finish regularly, and it means it's hard to judge, hard to get right. Russ almost had it, but Lindley rolled over the top. That's what rolled a steamrolled his way, and doing what George Cooper's done now is Russ. But I don't think Jimmy Allen, Yellow Beacon, or Neil from the Crosscast are going to be able to close that down. We're coming in towards the hour and 5. So in comes George Cooper. Now we're going to try and get across to Russ on the phone fairly shortly. Just watch our riders in. So George Cooper comes in behind. Then it's going to be Neil from the Crosscast being followed then by Jimmy Allen. Behind it's going to be between Williams and Luke Handley. It's going to be Dale Williams with the sprint. He's got a feather flag. Not sure that's really where you need it, Dale, but there you go. Flat finish in. Dale Williams comes in front of Luke Handley. So coming inside the top 15, it's going to be Keith Richardson. I think going to round out the top 15. My math is going to probably be a little suspect. We're going to get into a gap before we go too much onto the phone. Course, so on the way in and through underneath the gantry. Then it's going to be Billsworth, who goes in through from Taylor Osborne. Mason going in and through. Sonia on the way down. So we are going to have to just do a little bit of jumping about on the way down here. So Jimmy Allen already on his way through. Millsworth going through. So just having to keep a check. Simon running and Gang should be our next riders in towards the finish. It is indeed. So definitely something different. And what would you expect from people who make the kit that is just that little bit different? It is the Gang from Grity. And always great to have that inspiration. Now, just sat with Simon Run It. Here's Ian Bale, puts the sprint in. Bale taking that sprint from Run It and Pearson behind. Next up should be a big bunch sprint here. So this is the next group. They're already into the tunnels. Got the kick, who's going to put in the early attack here? Coleman's gone, he was right in with that leading group. He's gone early, you can just see he's put in 13.5 watts per kilo. You wouldn't want it to take him down into the sprint. He's gone in ahead. It's going to be Tim Cooper and Sharp, so it's Cooper and Sharp behind. So in goes Coleman, then it's Sharp, then it's Cooper coming immediately behind him. So close between these two. Then it's going to be Forbes and Martin. Gale, Stevens, Callaway, Moore goes through. Wilson, Wimble, Spencer, Oliver goes in and through. The Gang absolutely nailing it on the way down, in and through, in towards this finish. This is our next group in. We're going to try and get hold of Russ very quickly. Hopefully he's going to be on the other end of the phone line because this is our next chasing group. We've got a little bit of a gap until they make the way into the tunnel. Let's see if we can get the bear on the end of the phone line. I think we've got him. Russ, how you doing? That was absolutely a monumental ride down there.
I think so, mate. I can't remember it. I just did it with matchsticks in my eyes.
It was definitely rather dusty in that on the way down, but that final finish was brutal, wasn't it? I mean, a big climb, big descent, and then it really, really started to wind up. Did you think you had it when you put in that final attack?
No, my effort was to go just at the same time as Varsity went. I was all in. I was trying to go early to catch them off guard, and then I thought I'll squeeze on. I could see that Tom was coming. I had nothing left, you know. That's what happens, you know. You teach these kids how to do it, and they steal all the limelight, but. You know, chapeau Tom, he's been knocking on the door for so long, and it's come a long way since me and Vin met him and rode round the back of Retford in a pair of Umbro trainers or something he was in, and on a Wigo's battered up bike. So, you know, great work, Tom. Probably time to get your hair cut now, maybe.
And no longer allowed to be called young Tom Lindley anymore, because we did say he would lose that tag when he got a win, so he's managed to do that. And as you say, definitely a case of that's exactly why the Chaingang was there, to get people through lockdown, to keep people motivated, and it seems to have done its job, because Tom has done an amazing job. He's really come on. I've got to say a big thank you to Vin as well, because Vin, of course, instrumental in getting Tom onto the Gang and looking after a lot of our younger riders.
Yeah, you know, Vin forgot to post actually. Vin, I think, Vin and a few of the guys called round, I think, one day over the weekend, in bed fast asleep with a little one, and dog was going mad. Came downstairs and he'd put a little, Happy Mother's Day gift over the gate. So from Tom, I think, Tracy, Vin, and a few others on there. So, you know,
excellent.
Thanks for that, Tom, and that's why I let you have the win there for the flowers and the chocolates, mate.
Well, speaking of Tracy Seeley there taking the win in the women's ride there, because she goes through in front of Jo Jarvis. An absolutely awesome sprint between those two, coming in and over the line, the first two of our female riders. So Tracy, the Terminator, going in ahead of Jo Jarvis, the Aeonian rider. And again, lots of strong riders making the way in and through. John Gale going through. It just shows you just how fast this route is. The riders absolutely flying down here today.
Yeah, you know, I had a few issues on my phone again tonight, but always a bad thing because it wouldn't accept WhatsApps, it wouldn't accept anything. So I think I left my laptop running in the background, and it's just confused everything. So it was nice to actually ride the event without having to worry about sending messages.
Definitely, I know. I think it was a good one to ride rather than to be the beacon. And you can thank the Zwift gods somewhere for not making the swap up there. Despite
Gareth threw a curveball in there. He messaged me like, "Who's designed the route? It's 53k," and I was like, "Honestly, which program have you looked at?" So that sent me panicking, and then I had to look, and I was like, "No, I know it's 40k," and he got me on the back foot straight away. So thanks for rescuing me, Jimmy. I owe you a drink at the weekend.
It definitely is. The DCG gang members, of course, getting a heads up of where we're going and where we're going. This is Donny Chaingang. A, it ain't easy, and B, it's not often it's the same taste. We do have our favourites, the routes go back, but we're always looking at new routes and new options. And we've got another new route, of course, on Thursday, when you're due to be the leader if the Zwift gods play ball. And that's going to be on Temple and Towers. So let's see.
Yeah, I did. Halfway through the ride, I did message Zwift and say, just heads up, the beacon switchover didn't work, so I don't think I'll get away with it on Thursday again.
I don't think you will. It's going to be another tough one, but it's a mountain top. It's a rooftop finish in Temple and Towers, so it's going to be another one, a tough one. So I'm sure you'll be enjoying that with the riders on the way in. I'm going to say thank you very much, Russ. I'm going to let you get off. A busy man. There's no one busier than a new dad, I don't think, other than a new mum. So I'm sure you're going to have plenty to do, and we'll catch up with you on Thursday.
Yeah, and chapeau, and good luck to the women tomorrow on the last WOW DCG.
Indeed, it is the last.
Are they there on RGV, are they?
They're on RGV, but finishing at the Ballon Sprint on lap number 2, which really does change it in terms of how it rides, because you can break away from the aqueduct and take it. You've seen some really good sprints actually in the past. We haven't yet worked out how we can do that on the main one, but I'm looking forward to see whether super strong sprinter Sonia, who's just coming in through the line, I suspect has been saving her legs for the ride tomorrow, which is going to be the last WOW DCG, because she comes in just in front of Lotta Mansfield. Lotta, again, another of our regular riders, so great to have Lotta on. And Lotta, of course, part of the Mansfield clan, which is Grity, so great to have their support. Russ, we'll let you get off, and I'll catch you soon.
Cheers, mate. I can guarantee I didn't save any of my legs for anything tonight, so left it all in the dirt. So chapeau, and cheers. Catch you Thursday.
So great to catch up with Russ there. So we watch the lone rider coming through just behind. Then it's going to be Ted, Chris Cannon coming through. Charles comes in underneath the line, and I think our next rider's on the way down should be the head honcho of Grity. That is Caroline Mansfield herself on the way through. Three riders from the Mansfield household, all on the at the same place at the same time, all sitting on Zwift next to each other, but all, of course, riding on the Chaingang now. We just talked to Russ, who is meant to be our yellow beacon. We'll see if we can get hold of the man who has been holding the hot seat for him and had to take up the reins at short notice. Jimmy, how are you?
Good. I really enjoyed that course, Matt, actually. I don't know about everybody else. A long go, obviously. I don't might have upset the natives a little bit again, but I think it had to be done, didn't it? Really?
I think it did. I mean, when I decided that route, I had my hopes of where it would go, and to be honest, I think you might have been doing a little bit of mind reading in there, because it did play out for a long one, and that's what we got. And but it seemed to work well, and I think I liked it, but I wasn't having to ride it. It's the climb seems to go on forever, but then that descent, you're into it really quickly, and soon forget just what it's like, because you're quickly into what is a really busy part of the course. When you hit the jungle, it really does sort of almost sensory overload you after being out in the open.
Yeah, it's that the first part of the climb's fairly steady, isn't it? And you can sort of get into a bit of a time trial mode, but then there's a few undulations, and it's sort of that last bit. it comes back into more puncher territory, doesn't it? So you can sort of punch your way up that last bit and, maybe get back on or create a gap, and then there's a little rises through to the finish. So clearly it worked, didn't it? That front group were exciting, wasn't it? Really good finish, that. What a best for a while. I thought Russ had it.
I
had a message typed ready.
But not to be, and I think very fitting on Grity week. Caroline Mansfield, the CEO of Grity, just coming in and over the line. I got to say a big thank you to their support, and really the inspiration for this route was to get something that was really hard, but gave everybody the opportunity, whatever your skills were, but also featured different terrain on the way through. And Tom Lindley taking that win from Russ. If I was a betting man in the sprint, I wouldn't have been going for Tom, but Tom is now no longer young Tom Lindley.
Absolutely, he's boy's become a man, hasn't he? But yeah, thanks Caroline for the sponsorship, and as always, and makes it what it is, doesn't it? And well done, Tom. What a ride! I watching the feed from a distance, if you like, and sort of as Russ went for it, I thought he had it, and then Tom sort of played a blinder, really, didn't he? He just sort of was patient and came through everybody else and timed his sprint perfect. So yeah, well deserved.
Definitely, really good to see, and I think well deserved as everybody has said. And hopefully, Jimmy, you're not going to be our yellow beacon with the nicest possible way. I'm sure you're ready for a break as you come out the other side, and we go into the Russ is back. Holding the reins up once again, so going to be interesting to see how you're riding it. It's a bumpy route, let's say.
Which one is it again? Remind me. I've forgotten.
And Towers, so we head from the Pence in the Okio up the rooftop KOM for almost a recce of that, but then we go across out into through the Umezi tunnels and into the countryside before going up the castle climb. The temple KOM, and then up onto the KOM, up onto the top of the forest KOM, and then when we've done all that, we come all the way back into town before going up the tower KOM again.
And whose idea was this, Matt?
I can't imagine.
Let me guess.
Sorry. Not sorry, really.
Yeah. Oh my God! So not flat then, basically.
It's not flat. To give you an indication, we had about 600 meters of climbing today. It's actually just a little bit less. We still have nearly 399 meters of climbing on Thursday. So definitely not going to be flat. No,
clearly. Well, I'll make sure I get my feet up tonight and get the old carbs back in. Ready for Thursday. Ready to go again.
Definitely, indeed. And just watching our Red Beacon come in, they do an amazing job. Rich Langmead, one of our really experienced riders, just coming in with Mr. Kerr there, just in and over the line. So just like Andrew Kerr and Rich Langmead coming in over the line together. Great job, and got to say a massive thank you to them and to you, of course, for standing in. So cheers, guys. Thank you very, very much. Jimmy, rest up, keep feet up, watch the WOW DCG tomorrow, and then back at it on Thursday.
Cheers, mate. Look forward to it.
So great to catch up with Jimmy, who is now going to hopefully get his feet up as we see Rich Langmead on his way in and through. Great riding by Andrew Kerr coming in through underneath the gantry now, just the roll down into the finish now. Interesting, the distances coming through varied a little bit as people come in and through the line. It should, in theory, and we have pre-ridden this a number of times, we get lots of different variations of it coming through to be a finish on this ride at the 36.5k mark, which in theory would leave us 3.5k of warm down, but as always, definitely going to be an interesting run down to the warm down, and probably, you never know, we might take that down a little next time. If we come back onto this one, let us know on the Facebook pages. So as Mr. Kerr and Mr. Langmead roll the way in to a Warsaw finish, got to say a massive thank you to everybody for riding, to Russ, to Jimmy, and of course to Rich Langmead. Importantly, of course, to Grity, congratulations to our winners so far on Grity Flanders Week. Don't forget that T-shirt going out to Mr. Tickhill. And, of course, we've got those tickets going out to the cycle show as well. Make sure you go on to www.gritty.co.uk for all of the details on what makes the Grity kit so special. And don't forget, of course, another chance to win if you're a member of the DCG gang on Thursday. Between now and Thursday, we have the final WoW DCG of the spring season. So it is going to be our leader, Emma, the Aeonian team rider, who is our yellow beacon. The boss will be in charge of the WoW DCG tomorrow. That's heading out onto RGV. Make sure you tune into the Downing Cycling YouTube channel that you're watching right now to make sure that you catch up with all of the action from that. It's a great route, and love the finish being on the Ballon sprint on that slightly shorter route. Now, a couple of other things. Don't forget, this is the last week, Grity Flanders Week, last week of March. We have one more month to go. So if you want to know all the fuss being in the DCG gang is all about, make sure you join for April. And you can do so. The links are all on the Facebook page. You can get them on the website as well. By joining the DCG gang, your donation goes into keeping the show on the road, keeping all of the tech running. It helps us spend all that time working with everybody else, making sure that their tech works as well, which we certainly spend quite a lot of, not as much as always, but still a fair amount, making sure everybody's kit's working. Make sure that we can just look after our younger riders, and great to see Tom Lindley, one of our youngsters, taking the win tonight. Don't forget, of course, by doing so, you're also in with a chance to win. So the members of the DCG gang in March in for the prize draw on Thursday in Temples and Towers. And then next month we have, of course, got 2 more giveaways. That is going to come from Halo Wheels. And the final week of the spring season in April will be from OTE. In the meantime, if you're online, don't forget, give me a follow. It's Matt Fixer Pain on Facebook, Strava, Swift. They're the key things, let's face it. How fast I didn't go, where I did go, because you might want a heads up on where the routes may be heading in the future. And, of course, on Facebook to see just how sorry I look when I fall off and crash the bike or chasing Indy through some forest, our trail dog. From me, from Russ, from everybody on the Donny Chaingang, make sure you tune in tomorrow if you're not riding on the WoW DCG. We'll see you soon.